It's actually amazing to be here tonight. It's our first talk on FinGS, but it actually feels like home because we know most of the friends and partners here, and many of you has partnered with us on this digital journey over the last few years. So thank you so much for all of your help. My name is Ying. I'm the head of digital products and strategic workflow at Barclays. Today, I have also invited my colleague, Keck, who is the head of digital and cognitive platforms, to join me on stage.
And we understand that there's normally only one person here. This was planned. We're working on some uncommon things, so we're taking an uncommon approach.
Perfect. So what Jack and I are going to share with you today is our digital transformation journey. How we bring real business value by focusing holistically on front office workflow, and how we bring scale by developing a digital platform that brings all of these technology that we have talked about the whole day tonight. Before we get to the details, just a little bit about ourselves and why we intended to join force for this presentation together. A little bit about me. I spent the last 15 years in the sales and trading organization, which usually referred as the business. But I'm a data science by training. I spent a lot of time managing digital products and platforms. I was an entrepreneur and built a startup outside of Barclays, which leads to $500 million Series C funding, and build business at Barclays, and also in the mission of doing the digital transformation.
And I'm Keck, and I'm the technology. I started my career on one of the desks at Goldman. What up? And I've always prided myself, one of the skills I learned there is you're always commercial focused as an engineer. So coming at that, we've been focused for the past year and a half working together on what the digital strategy looks like at Barclays. And we're understanding that it's really about blended focus colleagues. And it's really the understanding that business colleagues with technical acumen and technologists with business acumen, they're considered the key source of competitive advantage for our firm right now. And we're going to talk a little bit about why.
And if you wanted to join Barclays, come and talk to us. The industry has come a long way. With the advancement in technology and amount of data that's available to us, we see huge potential in digital organization. A recent study by McKinsey actually put these into real dollars. So the research has shown, even with the technology stack we have today, end-to-end digitalization will save a trader time by 50%. That contribute to 20 to 30% of revenue growth, with 2 to 3 percentage points contributing into ROI. So digital transformation is no longer a nice to have. It's an initial component for any bank who wants to compete in this environment. At Barclays, we centralize all the digital efforts under the umbrella of digital strategy, which we bring together data, analytics, workflow tools, and integrating with external technology.
And it's important to note what we're doing with external technology. So this isn't your classic traditional, we go out, we find who's in the marketplace, we see if there's a feature fit, we bring them in, they build something, and we implement it. It's very much a one-way street. That's a buyer-seller relationship. And similar to how Ying and I have approached our relationship, making a more collaborative effort, we've been working with some of our partners, such as OpenFin, to help influence what their build strategy looks like so it fits our needs, and vice versa. We're embedding them within our groups to influence and make our design decisions more intelligent for that day 2, day 1 scenario. And just one more piece there, right? It's commercially imperative because we're redefining how we inform our decisions on when to buy, when to build, and what that intersection really looks like.
As we embarked the digital strategy transformation, we actually encountered many of the hurdles, as many of our speakers shared today, right? How to marry the old and the new, how to define and unify the structures, and then I think Jack can probably share a lot of those experiences that we have.
How many people here work in technology at finance? Yeah, all of us, right? And most of us. It can be bad. I mean, you're constantly balancing this responsibility for legacy systems, The idea that you have a business colleague that needs net new apps that look great and work great, and you're balancing the migration from one to the other and the adoption of the latter, it's no bueno. And you have this design and build model that folks start to use those applications in ways you never thought they would. And it creates this unreported, invisible layer of human interaction, which the whole point of building in the first place was to get rid of. And we think that that's a huge commercial opportunity at the firm.
Exactly. And then what the inefficiency in the workflow and design, as what Jack alluded to, has real business consequences. But at the same time, it actually has a lot of opportunities because any organization as complex as us has invented or invested holistically on a lot of those technologies. And now we're looking at how we can leverage the investments that we already put in, but put a nudge, right, to stitch them together in a way that provides a unique user experience. One of the things that I love on my normal day life is Google Assistant. We can spend days and debating between Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, which one is better. But what really inspired us is they came with kind of a routine. Every morning, they sent me notifications, let me know what's going on in the markets, what I need to do. They tell me I have a conference I need to come to for FunGS. So what Jack and I has been discussing is, why don't we bring the same thing into Barclays, into our sales and trading organizations? So the way that we pivoted are really focusing on two things. One is taking a holistic view of front to back workflow and identify what the big themes and the common themes that really bring business values. So we know we're directing our resources on the things that matters. Secondly, we focus on building this digital platform that has a unified API layer that has these modular components. So we're not only building something ourselves, we're enabling the organization to come with a framework and standards. So different teams working in various silos can come and build the same things that benefit the ultimate end users. And it also offers a unique layer for us to integrate with external technology. Here is just a quick example of a very simple workflow, how different pieces of technologies designed by completely different teams coped with external vendor technologies and provide a seamless workflow for our sales team, gave them the information they needed at their fingertips, gave them the alerts, surface, combination of bots, of like different applications that delivered in a seamless way. And what's worth highlighting here is many of these components are actually developed by different teams who currently or traditionally sit in organization silos, but with the standard framework and enablement layer, we bring them together that offers a real benefits.
So what does that really look like, right? Because the real question there, or I guess what you're really surfacing, is that we're moving to an outcomes-based model. We're not talking about the system. We're talking about what is the resolution, what are we actually providing, what is the end result. And how do you scale that to someone as large as Barclays? You move to a platform, or that's everybody else's choice, right? So we decided to try to experiment. Barclays has an overabundance of portals, like any large corporation. I would categorize us as portal fatigued, perhaps. We also knew that there was an appetite to bring cognitive software development in, and we wanted to treat it as a transformational exercise. And we also wanted to focus on replacing those frustrating experiences with the portals with more intuitive, interactive exchanges, right? How do you do that? Cognitive engineering. And we found that with the advances that have happened in open source technology over the past 5 years, it's a much easier task to sort of manage and bring in and really attack. So what we did is we looked through this in the lens of how do you take away some of the traditional blockers that an engineering org would see as they're trying to build an application. You're trying to build in by design things like observability, security, compliance, controls, all the things that Ying had on that awesome slide before. So of course we went with Dobby, because I'm a huge Harry Potter fanatic, and this is an assistant. And I think it was interesting, because the way that we approached it took us from focusing on how do we manage this legacy system, that net new app, et cetera, and it really brought us back to what's that end user experience, and it drives it forward. And this focused on pushing it to a federated model. This is a reusable framework that isn't just for Dobby and my engineering team operating in the shadows. This is a team that anybody in the front office could pick up, or a framework any team in the front office could pick up and run with and build with. And that was incredibly enabling.
And the example that we showed you earlier on that simple change in workflow design offers real business benefits. We reduced the steps from 35 to 2. We have tasks that usually take hours down to 2 minutes. And our users find, oh, this is actually quite interesting, and kind of all stitch it together. So with that, and with what Jack has demonstrated on the focus on workflow and the platform, what the future is going to look like. And we were debating on that when we are heading over here. Are we talking about human versus machine? Or we are really talking about human versus human augmented with machine?
For now.
With that, to conclude, as I said, this is really a collaboration play. And as many of you sitting there helped us along this journey and come and talk to us, we are looking forward to building amazing digital future with you all. Thank you.